A little bit of white space?
With white space or light gray?
Or light gray? We can certainly talk to our famous designer Barbara Denny and talk about that.
See if, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I really would appreciate it.
Okay. We will certainly have the
conversation. Unless we're telling a certain story, then you don't want it.
Well, the story is you in this case. So this is of course the overlook at Monument Valley.
Yeah.
What can you say about this? Do you remember? Was it January? Was it December? Do you remember the time of the year?
This was. I think I did this when I was staying actually with the Gouldings before it was the museum. You know, where they were still here, and we stayed usually around Christmas. I'd go out with the folks, but this one I think is when my mom and dad were gone, and I made this. But
it's quite a storm.
Yeah, I used to think that's what happens all the time, and then you start playing. You have to be lucky or just be on the road all the time, and then catch these and shoot within hours. And then they start melting. This melted.
Oh, did it really very quickly?
Yeah, I have other images where it's starting to get muddy but still snow, but you can tell she's running off.
So
this was just one of those a lot of my work goes around the timeless moment.
Okay.
So you have things that happen and are gone. You know, the past and then the future, and it's that image right in between. That's been really.
Fairly early in the morning, you're looking east.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and so it would make sense when you talk about the timeliness of this photograph.
And luck.
Well,
it's just being there and really having a little bit of luck, but it's timing and getting a sense the night before.
Indeed.
That hey, something's going to happen. It'll be colder in the morning usually. Yeah. And same with reflections in lakes.
Well, it looks like such a fresh snow too, and then of course you have the early morning mist. That's beautiful. Thank you.
The fog makes it to me. That ambient light is just love it.
Yeah, beautiful. Was this a book cover? Do I remember, or no? Not for you.
Not that exact image with the grass.
Yeah, Robert saw the grass. So this is again Monument Valley. It's a vertical view with your.
The cascade of ripples.
Yes.
I just love doing that. That was a big...
Well, one of the things when Jeff was showing us the images, doing an image review with us last Friday, you know, I mean, we were all just listening to him respond to all these images, and we must have heard it. It was the recurring theme was nobody does this. Nobody sees it this way. I mean, there were... You know, whether it was the totems or whatever it might have been, you were always showing it from different angles, and that's kind of when we started thinking we need to have it in your words, sort of talking about why you took the counterintuitive approach or whatever it might have been.
Well, Robert pointed out this sprig of grass.
That's they're calling it near far. I like to call it natural connections. But then to have some element right in front that your eye is then taken through. Yeah. And that's getting the middle ground, importantly, integrating the two. But you have a landscape up there, and then you have the detail, put them together. I started by photographing macro things, and I wanted, you know, I'm looking at this, well, why can't I have the rest of it that connects together, put them in a lineup that's draws your eye and makes you work. Yeah. You're visually passing through the...
I love that. It makes you work. What is it, I may have asked you this many years ago, compositionally, often, David, you frame things very high and very low. What brought you to that place? Is that something natural? Is it intuitive with you? Is it an evolution in your style? Where did this come from, the really high frame in this case? The high horizon.
I'm really carried away by the main subject to me is the ripples.
Interesting.
The ripple cascade with light, with either late or early distinguished light rather than midday.
Indeed.
And sometimes you go around at midday and it's just blah. This is the important thing. So those start to come together, and having the landscape on top, we've all seen Monument Valley, the monuments, different ones. How do you do it? I was concerned about that. make things look, so I was developing my own style with this ripple cascade and something close going all the way up through a middle ground to the landscape, which is just that top, what is it, about an eighth of the image.
Yeah.
I do that a lot because I want that. In this case, the middle ground's the real story. Usually that's the hard one to find.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question about the history of that? So you're with, as it relates to your work with Arizona Highways and working with Ray Carlson and JV back in those days, how did they react to something? Was this sort of completely out of left field to them, the small horizon, or did they embrace it?
I don't know if I was doing it with George Avey and even Gary Avey.
Yeah.
Gary Avey was real short-lived, and he could see what I was doing, but I don't know if I don't know where the time line. To me, it's not seamless right there.
Right.
Carlson and George Avey.
Yeah.
I don't know if they saw that or if I was even doing that at that time.
Okay.
But I was trying to do unusual things. I think I was also trying to frame things.
Yeah.
A juniper frame. My dad would do that.
Yeah.
Something. And I thought, I don't want to do this, so I want to work more with the earth.
Sure.
So it's earth and sky.
Wonderful.
That was drawing me. But, and some images just started me doing that. I can't even connect with a certain time, other than when they're published.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you can do that. So here we have the Grand Canyon. Is this South Rim, David? I believe it is.
Yeah, South Rim, Paul Bunyan.
Sunrise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But this form is almost silhouetted, and I think that's magical. It just,
it's a form rather than a subject or a well-lit, detailed thing, whatever, rock, tree, whatever. And this to me is part of the magic that I've always liked to, I respond to, so I try and photograph it.
Well, I think this is a stunning image because we, of course, naturally at the magazine we see scads, hundreds, if not thousands of images of the Grand Canyon, but this, I think this transports people. It did to me when I see this image, because it is something about form, as you said it. And
this is a very important point too, that I'd like to have in everything I have reproduced or have putting up the portfolios that I'm, a lot of them. And the thing is form versus light contrast.
Yes.
The contrast between the light and shade is where your eye goes.
Right.
And that's where it delineates things too much.
Oh, my
of course,
goodness.
we can get into that whole thing of sharpness.
Oh, indeed.
The whole.
can.
Did we talk about that sterile inventory thing? No, I won't go in there.
But we can, and as we go through images, some of that
form.
Yes, but form is so important.
It's so important.
And some of those things, the world of contrast and shadow and light and detail, I think those things will in fact come out as we go through these. This is lovely and textural.
Well, it's rare and special for Arizona, but the light is a little busy.
On this one?
Contrasty, yeah.
Well, you do have the snow creates a natural reflector, and this is what, South Rim?
And that helps.
It does. This is South Rim Grand Canyon.
Yeah, okay, so South Rim.
And but I think you do get that here. Your snow becomes a natural reflector, and
it does. It really does. Yeah, it's amazing how you can fill in the shadows that get a little. It's that light and shade that kind of irks me a little bit. I'd like it to be ambient, overall even light, but it's.
But what about the shadows that sort of become leading lines?
I think if you just lightened in on the left trunk over into, right there.
Yes,
just
indeed.
lighten a little bit in there, it'll be fine.
Tell me about the ponderosa trunks, that lovely red, in this some kind of cold blue, snowy scene.
They're just great, and they get a little wet even more so.
Even more so.
It's ponderosa, so you connect with the Mogollon Rim and the San Francisco peaks and the South Rim, and that's, to me, is the.
But when I saw
the center of.
That's exactly what I saw. I saw this lovely cold, the cooler blue light, and then I saw those red tree trunks. And I was drawn immediately to those for that reason, David. And I like your leading lines, actually. I like your shadows, drawing you in and up.
you could crop off a little on the left.
You want a little gone?
Shadow.
All right, I'll help you out with that.
No, I mean,
It's
don't
good.
even remember.
Do you still love it? Do you still love talking about it? I mean, when I'm out with Jeff and other photographers, to me they're like kids in a candy store, out with their cameras and making photographs. And I mean, I can hear that in your voice. Is that accurate?
It's the spontaneous part. Otherwise, it wouldn't be any fun.
No, that's good.
But to do something different gets serious.
Yeah.
To do something that's uniquely mine, and at the same time respond to something I had never imagined.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes scheduling is just scheduling. Well, I want to be there tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening. I want that light. And I want that, and then you get there, and you want to turn around and look every direction when it's great light, and the things happening in all different directions, and then you open up. You don't just lock into that one thing, and that's been always a special kind of a.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is.
So this is Wapaki, but you've got a dusting of snow, but you've moved yourself up high, and you've got. But one of the things I like are these circles. You've got which apparently is snow that is melted in the foreground in a circular form, and then what I'm guessing was a ball court. Perhaps.
It's one of the at Wapaki.
But compositionally, you've got this repeating pattern, and it's more than once. And your payoff seems to be the ruin itself. Unless I'm wrong, you tell me.
No, it ties together. It doesn't look. It should be lightened a little bit on the ball court, left in the shade, and
right
then
in here?
into the ruin. Up into the ruin.
Okay, sure.
But the repeating of the snow melt on the slick rock, I just do that instinctively. I don't even think of that. But with the ball court, very similar size. I mean, I could get real close to it and make it bigger, or get way back, and it's just incidental. It is the same size.
But I think what you've done here is you've created a narrative. You've put it in the environment itself. So rather than getting close to the ball court, you've pulled out. You said, no, this lives in a place, and I think you've told a greater story personally. Nicely done. Great fun. Just fun.
This one I always liked.
Did you?
Yeah, I always liked this one.
So the aspen leaves and the soft grasses. So when you're walking, do you look down a lot? Or every direction? Ruth laughed.
That's what I've got for walking. I've got to, one step at a time. Usually I've been able to look down, look all around while I'm walking, and that's not too good. I go on momentum, and you can walk. So you're looking for things ahead, and as you go through something. But I'm always looking for foregrounds when I go out to a place, and that brings me to looking at. And when you get a timing like this, it just is natural.
So this is beautiful. I mean, just the sort of the lightness, the airiness of the. What I guess are blades of grass with the snow and then the aspen leaves.
It gives you a little composition without knowing it until you look hard. It's a little composition. Yeah.
It's so nice.
I just love patterns and close-ups.
And this is great soft light. You remember if it was an overcast day?